Okay, we got some of that behind us. What I'd like to do now is focus on the builder realtor difference in our training. A lot of on-site consultants they would love to be a general agent, but they don't like prospecting, and it's too much risk for them. On the other hand, general agents would seriously consider on-site, but the restrictions of that, the time restrictions, the working on weekends and so forth, and not being able to get their hair done at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday if they wanted to, that would just kill them. So there's some basic fundamental differences going in, but let's look at some of the training differences. Uh, I learned this years ago and put it in my book, matter of fact, back in 1980. There's some other things there, but I wanted to go with the top 5 differences that are important for you to know, I think, both sides to know. So let's look at what these might be. You can read those to yourself, can you not? But, one of the big ones, of course, is that general agents are trained to negotiate price. And I don't know about most builders, but the ones I know and the way I was instructed as I was representing builders through the years is my job was to protect price, be proud of price. Look at the value we have here. You can't do that on one hand and then say, look at this wonderful value and how much would you offer me for it, right? But that's not the reason builders don't negotiate. They don't negotiate because it affects the value of their property. I personally will not go into, if I can help it, I would not take a prospect into a builder's community if I knew they were negotiating price, because it affects the value of the property. It affects what my prospect may be paying versus somebody else, especially if they're like, if you come in without a broker, they cut the price, those kind of things. If I find out about that, I don't go in. If the builder wants to work with the realtors, they're going to protect their sales team, which is us, as well as their on-site people. So, but that's a big difference, a huge difference, and that's why I've heard, I believe wrongly, agents say to prospects, if you're looking for a new home, you see me, I can negotiate a better price for you, even with my commission. I would, I don't know, really. I mean, maybe I don't have enough experience in that area. There may be some pockets of that, but that doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sure maybe they can negotiate some other things, but I don't know about price. It's going to show up on the tax reports and everything. I mean, I can see maybe negotiating something on decorating allowances and those type of things, perhaps. But the buyer believes at that point you're going to get them a really good deal. You're going to help them steal something, right? And maybe during the downtime you could do a little of that. Okay, what else do we see here? We'll sell any house, as we've discussed. They've got to sell what they have to sell. That is huge. Now, let me say this to the on-site people. Would you please ribbing us or being upset because we go show resales after we leave your place? That's exactly what we're going to do. That is the business we're in. And I've heard this from general agents in my sales meetings. I take somebody out there, those salespeople, but to see that builder, but all those salespeople are going to do is try to sell them something. I mean, you think about it, that's what you're in. That's what you do, right? If we were smart as general agents, we'd listen to everything you're doing so we could learn how you do it, because you do it every day and you do it well for the most part. But let me tell you a couple of big mistakes the industry is making, and maybe I'm repeating myself, or will, because I have some strong feelings about a few things here. And I'm not saying I'm right, and no law on this and no research on this, okay? It's just 40 years of experience of doing it wrong myself quite a bit, sending the wrong message. Let me tell you one assumption I think that's really thrown the both of us off the beat and set agents and builders, a little bit. We always feel like we're lecturing the firing squad on marksmanship when we try to help it, right? I mean, there's some feeling there. And one of the reasons is because you think as an on-site agent and builder that we are going to sell your home. We don't sell your home. We don't show your home most of the time. We introduce our prospects to you, especially with the production builders. And you're telling us we need to learn construction. I've been doing this 40 years. I've sold about $3 billion worth of stuff through the years. I don't know anything about construction. It just doesn't make any sense to me to learn construction. What I've got to learn is what that buyer wants to buy and go find them one and let you handle that. See, here's where the accountability comes in. The message to us should be, from the on-site agent to the general agent, is you work with me because I know construction. You don't have to learn construction if you're working with me. You bring them out to me, it's my job. That is my job to answer all of their questions about construction. Let me tell you why. Another reason I like that. I've been asked many times about construction. Of course I have. I always refer to the superintendent or the contractor because I want the person accountable for doing the work and producing the results to give them the answer in the promise or whatever it is they're going to do. Because one question leads to another. These can get into some pretty extensive conversations at times. And in my mind, there's some liability. If I act like I know something and I don't, and I don't want my agents doing that. I don't. And I had, on-site agent teams through the years, and this is what I'm always trained them to do, was let the contractor answer construction questions. We'll be happy to answer the questions related to the sales of the units and the condos and the homes. Very, very important. So I would suggest to you, Mr. and Mrs. On-site agent, to approach us with that. Quit telling us it is the easiest sell in real estate, and then tell us we have to learn construction. I cannot reconcile those two statements to save my happy soul. Think about it. And the second thing you need to do is understand we show homes. We work from a showing schedule. That's what we do. We get up in the morning to go show something. You get up in the morning to go sell something. But we work from a showing schedule. Multiple listing book is, we couldn't live without the multiple listing book, right? And now the internet, of course. That's what we do. So what I'm suggesting to you, and if you want to make it truly easy for us, is you let me know and convince me that you are the most knowledgeable you don't have to be the most knowledgeable, but you know your construction business, number one. And number two, you're going to do all the showing. And all you're asking me to do is just, David, I'll give you a script, sort of. But this is what I always recommend, is look, David, you're a busy man. You got 100 things on your mind. Why don't we do this? Just put us down first at the top of your showing schedule when you're coming out in this general direction. Would you do that? That's all you're asking me to do, is bring my prospect out on top of my showing schedule. Now, why shouldn't I bring him out at the bottom of it? Why did he say the top, or she say the top? Because they know that if it's one of you that have been certified by this course, they know that you know. That's what I'm telling you to do, because it's going to help you sell more resales and at the same time sell more new homes. And it's an amazing thing when you start leveraging this, the price of the new home, because it's fixed. And it's an amazing thing when the on-site agents start leveraging the fact they know construction to the benefit of the realtor, as opposed to as knowing something they don't and holding it over us, which we feel like they do sometimes. So those are just two things, only the two adjustments I would suggest the home building industry make. That's all. In the culture, and I'm talking about the culture here, because what I'm talking about has been going on a long time. Two things, simple. Quit telling us to sell your home. Invite us to put your home on the top of our showing schedule every time we're in your neighborhood. And if a resale buyer comes in the price range at your home, please do yourself a favor, Mr. and Ms. Realtor, and bring them out so they get a good idea of what they can get for the money, even before they see the resales. I mean, for you to act like we aren't going to show resales is foolishness. We're going to do it. Might as well leverage it, right? And then when we come out, if we know that this is going to help sell the resales, I'm going to slow down. And do you ever complain about us moving through too fast through the office? You do. You complain all the time about that, and we do. We're in a hurry. Well, sometimes we have a relocation buyer and we need to be in a hurry, but otherwise we move pretty fast. But if you can get us to deliver to you a ready, willing, and able prospect who will listen to your full presentation, do you think that would improve your sales with us? Now, why would I be willing to slow down and listen to you give them, I say, full location story, for example, an energy efficient story, an incentive story, and so forth, which they desperately need to hear from you, not me. I mean, wouldn't that improve your sales? Wouldn't it improve mine? Wouldn't a few of those people I show the resales to, and no, I'll add to that another. I'll say that another way. A larger percentage than you might think, once they understand the fixed price that they can get for the money and see the resales, you'd be surprised how many will come back. They have seen the vision of what they can have for that money. They've seen it. It is gorgeous. There's nothing wrong with it, right? That's all I'm asking you to do. And quit telling us, please, that we have to learn construction. I'm not holding it against people who do. There are people who've come out of the construction business and gotten into our business. They have trouble, a little trouble, getting prospects and getting into the system sometimes, but they do fine, and they sell new homes like crazy. And they probably do sell a few more because they have a construction background. It certainly doesn't hurt. But please don't tell me I have to do that, okay? Instead, if I'm a brand new agent, get me out there the first week and knock my socks off with your presentation and see who I come back the first time I have a buyer in your price range. Just see who I'm going to bring, who's coming to see you with their prospect, right? When I find out I don't have to do the contract, you're going to do transaction management and this beautiful model, you think I'm not coming back to see you, construction knowledge or not, right? Okay, you've seen the others here. I just wanted to get on my little soapbox a little bit here. We've got a lot more to go in this session, so let's move along.